cornfield here was absolutely perfect. You can't see anything. Way safer than being on a little trail in the woods next to the river, like I did 2 years ago. All right, let me drop off this tripod that I'm holding this camera with, get back on the road, and begin this hour-and-a-half long run I have today. Well, I just dropped off my kayak at the State Route 55, put in just south of Urbana, and now I am driving approximately 6.5 miles by road to where I'm going to be parking my truck and beginning my hour-and-a-half or so long run back to my kayak, hop in my kayak, float back to my truck. I have all the food and gear I need to make this an overnight. If I can find a sandbar that is conducive to camping along the river, I'll probably stay the night. If not, I'll just float on out to my truck and call it a day and drive back home. But I've always wanted to do an overnight by self-shuttling myself. So what better opportunity than today? It's like 80 degrees and humid. Great day to be on the water. It's July 1st. Everybody's celebrating the 4th of July this weekend. Not going to be the greatest for running. It is going to be miserably hot, but it's only for an hour and a half, and then we can relax on the water for the rest of the afternoon and evening. All right, here we go. Let the self-shuttling begin. 6.5 miles of road in the 80-degree heat and humidity. Back to my kayak at Route 55 in Urbana. Let's go. You know, I may not like this humidity, but the crops do. Just look at that beautiful corn. Head high by the 4th of July. Just about time for wheat harvest here on July 1st. Today's heat will definitely finish it off. So far, this is playing out exactly like my last hike, float, and cook video on the Mad River 2 years ago. I am starting and stopping in the exact same location. It's the exact same heat and humidity. It was miserable. I am soaked all over already in sweat. I hope I don't run out of water again, just like last time. I should have brought my water filter with me. At least there's a nice breeze every now and then, that helps. And no deer flies yet. If you're interested in seeing the video I made doing this, self-shuttling myself and cooking along the river 2 years ago, I will link it down below in the description box. Finally off the roads and onto the Simon Kenton Trail. It's a nice paved path down here in Urbana, and I have shade, almost full shade now with this tree line on my left. It's very comfortable now. Still very humid and hot, but more tolerable. How about that? Just a hair past halfway through this run, coming up on 4 miles. I'm so ready to get in the water. Leaving the Simon Kenton Trail onto Hickory Run Road, I think. Something Hickory. We got 1.5 miles to my kayak. There she is. We made it. Time to get in the kayak. So there's the parking area for Route 55 put in. Last time I parked over there and took my kayak back in the woods. But as you saw earlier, this time we took the cornfield, which I think is much better. Yeah, you can't see a thing from here. All right, got my swimming trunks on, ready to get on the water. It's 6 p.m. So I think I only have a 5-mile float back to my truck. I might just cook out, fly the drone, hop in a truck before dark and head home. Unless I find the perfect place to set up camp for the night. That does sound pretty fun to hang in my hammock tonight, listening to the Mad River flow by. Well, here we go. Back on the Mad River for the first time in 2023. Feels great, especially after that miserable, hot, humid run. It was actually probably a third walking. My heart rate was spiking. It was so hot and humid. But now that I'm here and on the water, of course, it cools down at least 5 degrees, if not 10. Very comfortable out here with crystal clear water. Wow. I mean, it looks like drinking water. The Mad River is just amazing. If you have never been on the Mad River before, I highly recommend it. It always has great flow. It's almost always clear unless they've had a heavy recent rain. It's spring fed, so it's cold, clear, beautiful kayaking water. One of the best in Ohio. So right here is a little S curve we're approaching in the Mad River, just south of the 55 put in, about a quarter mile. And it looks a little different than it did back in 2018 when I did my through paddle, but this is where I went sideways and lost a phone, a camera, and a hat. There's a nice little gravel bar. If I was needing a place to cook and camp right now, man, that's nice. I'm only 3/10 of a mile in though, it's a little early. One of the deepest spots in that river right here. Can't see the bottom. This is classic Mad River right here. This is how it looks all the way from the beginning in West Liberty, well, at least from Lippincott, all the way down through here until you get into Springfield. Then it starts getting a little wider and slower. But as you can see, the trees lean inwards from the bank. So this river is narrow enough that it's often fully shaded. That is one of the things I really like about the Mad River. The water's always cool, and the sun is pretty well shaded from the tree cover. Great place to be on a hot summer day. So just a moment ago, I saw a couple herons way up in these those are willow tree or cottonwood trees over there, and we have a sycamore tree here. Oh, there they go. But I was looking for their nest and I didn't see it anywhere. A flock of nesting herons is called a heronry. So I was looking for a heronry. They can range in groups of 5 to 500 nests and up to 100 feet high. So there's probably a heronry around here somewhere. I hear them, I just don't see the nest. One time I was paddling underneath a nesting group of herons and they were pooping all over me. It was like rain splashing in the water all around me. I never got hit, fortunately, but yeah, that was like paddling through a minefield. Currently halfway through my float, and I'm keeping my eyes open for a nice sandbar to cook some dinner on. It's just so relaxing. Even though it's just a 5-mile float from where I put in to where I parked, it's just what I needed after a long, hard week of farming. Oh, and even though there were some turns back there where I started, once you get beyond those, you just basically float and steer. So if you want a relaxing trip, man, I'm telling you, the Mad River is where it's at. Just look at how crystal clear the Mad River is. Love it. You know, this is my home river. I live 7 miles from the actual spring where the Mad River starts from, and only a 15-minute drive to where it's navigable, where you can actually put in and float and paddle the river. So I've always enjoyed the Mad River, and in Ohio, I don't know of any river that I like as much as the Mad River. If I want a better river than this, or a different experience than a Mad River, I go north to Michigan. Michigan's rivers are just amazing, the ones I've been on. I really like the Clarion River in Pennsylvania too. That's the only PA river I've been on. I know there's some great rivers. A lot of people talk about the Allegheny River. I've been through Allegheny National Forest hiking, but I've never been on the Allegheny River. But yeah, the Clarion River is beautiful. I definitely want to go back there and try some more sections of the Clarion River. This might be my spot right here. I think this might be where I cooked my steak 2 years ago when I did this. This is perfect. We gotta stop and check this out. I'm using the Nemo Tensor airbag filler on my X-Lite pad, but it works. It fits on there. It's better than blowing 25 breaths in there. It's like 4 or 5 squeezes of the bag and it'll be full. Fills up way slower than the Tensor. If you're looking for a good air pad, get the Nemo Tensor in wide, either regular or long, depending on your height. Did I say height? Height is not a word. Height. I said a height in one of my greenhouse videos, and I got ripped, man, for not knowing English. Height. I've made up a new word. Instead of height, it's height. Costco quilt, which is good down to about 55 degrees, so it's plenty for tonight. And the Nemo Pillow, my favorite backpacking pillow. It's a little on the heavy side, but if you're not trying to go ultralight, it is very comfortable. Helinox Chair Zero. A great lightweight chair. I don't usually take it backpacking if I'm going light, but on a trip like this, absolutely. This thing has been put through the test. It is getting ready to rip up here. Got a couple 3 holes in it. Still does the job after 5 years. All right, we're making this easy tonight. Stole this from my camper. I think it's called a tumbleweed. Got them at Dollar General. It's just like wood shavings with some kind of wax. Great for starting fires. They're huge and bulky, but perfect for RV camping. Got some driftwood material here. Should flame right up. All right, we got her going. Now I just need to find some more wood so we can get some nice coals to cook our meal tonight. Well, while we're waiting for this fire to burn down a little bit, we're gonna enjoy some fresh pico de gallo salsa that my brother makes on our farm. It is amazing. We sell it at all of our farmers markets. It is fresh salsa made every week. Lots of cilantro and onions and garlic. Oh man. On the dinner menu tonight. Let's see what we got in the bag of goodies from Wishwell Farms. A southern pepper. My peppers aren't yet ready yet. They're about the size of golf balls. Southern potatoes. I don't grow potatoes. Gotta have some potatoes in there. I'll save some for breakfast to go with my eggs. Homegrown yellow squash. Homegrown zucchini. A homegrown tomato from my greenhouse. And fresh garlic scapes. Garlic scapes are the thing that grow on the top of the garlic plant that you pick off a couple weeks before you harvest the garlic bulbs that are underground. So these garlic scapes, I'm gonna chop them up and saute them up with my veggies. And to go with my veggies, I have some fresh burger bought from the local grocery store. Some ground chuck, get some protein in there. But these things are like a spicy, garlicky taste. It's gonna be a perfect addition to my stir fry tonight. Once again, I forgot a cutting board. So I'm just gonna hack these things up right here in the skillet. Really need to get me one of those little flexible cutting boards that my brother has. These things are tough. Okay, the fire is just about ready. I just gotta get a little bit of pepper in this. Let's put at least a half pepper in there. We'll save some for breakfast tomorrow to go with the eggs and potatoes. I'm just gonna cut it up right here on the bag. Otherwise, I'll scratch my pan all up. And I would say the fire is just about ready. Time to get these goodies on the coals. I'm starving and it's starting to get dark. We gotta get moving. The only seasoning I brought was salt and pepper. I'm gonna go ahead and season that up a little bit. Don't need garlic because of the scapes. See what I forgot? A Vidalia onion. I have Georgia Vidalia onions at my barn and I forgot them. That would have been a perfect sweet addition to this. All right, I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but I didn't want to buy a 5-pack of brats, so I brought a burger. We're gonna chop that up in there and hopefully that'll work out. Hopefully it's not too greasy. I don't know if you can notice through the camera, but it's starting to get dark. It is just after 9 o'clock. In a half hour, it would be pitch black out here. So I'm hoping I can get this done before it is dark. Everything is looking good and just about done, and I'm gonna put some fresh tomato in here. Why not, right? It'll kind of stew up in there. Because I didn't have tomato on the Kokosing River, and I did not want to forget it today. Sure it's going to be good. I think she is done. Let's eat. turned out pretty good. It's probably a little greasy from the burger. And the stewed tomato kind of fell apart, but I knew that would happen. I think it looks pretty good. It actually turned out really good. I know it just looks like a hot mess stewed together in this pot, but man, it is good. When you're hungry, been working all day, and floating during the evening, this is good.
Good morning. So as I'm looking out my tent, I can see that the water has risen about a foot. Where I cooked dinner last night, it's completely underwater. Wow. I'm glad it didn't rain any more than it did, or I would have had to move camp. Still safe and sound up here on the sandbar, but not by much. The remnants of my fire is gone. Yeah, I was breaking off wood down there underwater for my fire last night, and this was a dry creek bed. So that storm certainly provided quite a bit of rainfall last night. If it would have continued raining, my only other option was to climb up that little 5-foot bank. There's a little spot up there where someone had camped in the past. I am so thankful I did not have to do that last night. That would have been miserable. It rained almost the entire night, but once the big front came through, it was just light rain. And it sounded like a freight train coming through these trees as I heard that storm approaching. I was watching the cell on my cell phone as it was approaching, and I was like afraid a tree was going to come and fall on my tent and finish me off. That was a little scary. I was definitely frightened last night. But once it went through, it was just a calm, gentle rain. It lasted most of the night, so it wasn't that bad. Glad everything was okay. Man, the deer flies are out in full force this morning. I've already gotten bit on the neck. I don't think I'll be cooking breakfast over the fire this morning, unfortunately. I think I'm just gonna make my cup of coffee and hit the road. Well, hit the water and get out of here. I'm only a mile upriver from my truck, and I doubt if I can find dry firewood to cook on. I've got my stove. I could cook my eggs and potatoes over the stove, but we'll start off with coffee and we'll go from there.
What kind of coffee are we going to be having this morning? Whatever it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be pretty crappy. We got Folgers Instant Crystals and Nescafe Taster's Choice. That's what it's going to be. And we're off. Day 2 on the Mad River after massive storms last night. Feels good to be back on the water. I'm glad I survived the storm. We got less than a mile and a half back to my truck. Mile and a half. So it won't take long to wrap up this trip. I wish I could have cooked some breakfast this morning over the fire, but it would have been nearly impossible to find dry wood. I didn't feel like wasting my time tromping through the woods with poison ivy and deer flies and mosquitoes and spider webs just to try to find some wood to start my fire. So I got a couple bars and a cup of coffee, and here we go, back on the Mad River. Whoa! Man, that's like the first rock I've hit since I started this yesterday. Pretty overcast today, but very comfortable. Approaching another sandbar, just 200 yards away from where I stayed last night. And just a quarter mile downriver from where I camped, another great sandbar. Maybe I should call that a stone bar. A lot of big stones in there. But it's flat up on top. You could probably pitch a tent up there. And it looks like it's about 4 feet off the water. Maybe only 3 feet today. So you would probably stay safer on that sandbar. You know, I just had another crazy thought. I'm less than a mile from my truck, but I am scheduled to do about a 4-mile run today. I could float on past my truck another 3 or 4 miles, take out my kayak, hide it in the woods, and run back to my truck. Man, it's not a bad idea. We'll think about that one. As much as I would love to paddle on down river a couple more miles to Eagle City Road, which is the next takeout, and run back to my truck, there's not really a good direct path. River Road does not go all the way down that way. I would have to take the long way into Tremont City and then back down Tremont City Road, and it would take too long. I think it'd be too many miles for me today to run. The other way, you'd have to go out on US Route 68. I don't want to hike down 68 because it's a 4-lane highway at that area. So I think this is where we're going to call it a trip. Coming up on the final 100 yards here. It was a great float on the Mad River once again. I always enjoy this river. It is by far my favorite river in Ohio. I say that all the time. And the main reason is because it's right in my backyard. I can get on the river in 15 minutes. Well, that was a fun one. I'm glad I got to spend the night on the river. I always enjoy a quick kayak camping trip during the busy season on the farm, and ready to head back home and get cleaned up. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we will see you again real soon on the next kayaking adventure. Dragging my kayak across the rocks like this. There's not really a way to avoid it on this one. I don't think I can carry it.